Hi, I'm Ashley Tavares. I play Tara on My Life with the Walter Boys, and you've been watching Pop Culture with Pat, season two.
Guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we are going to be talking My Life with the Walter Boys with Tara herself, Ashley Holliday Tavares. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So again, congratulations on the show, getting renewed right before the holidays. Super exciting, a nice Christmas gift to the whole cast. So I'm sure you're excited. We were talking about that. You're very excited about that.
So excited. It's a dream come true because this show, I've been working for a while and I've done a lot of shows that have not gone for a second season. And like the joke of my life has been like, one day you'll get that second season. So to actually get the second season with this cast and this crew and this show and this story it's a dream come true. It's literally a dream come true. It's so cool.
I mean, it's tough to like people think it's just so like if you're I feel like you're not in the industry, you just see new TV shows and movies coming out like all the time. So you just
Right.
think it's kind of, oh yeah, like everything, if you have a project, it's getting made. Like some shows don't even get to the process of getting made, but then some shows, like you said, one season, that's it. So I mean, to get multiple seasons on a show is kind of a rare thing.
It is. It's a huge deal. And you're right. I feel like, especially because I watch a lot of TV. I love TV. I've always loved TV and movies my whole life. They're like one of my children. You know what I mean? I love it. And I guess I forget when I'm watching these shows that I'm involved in the industry and that you don't necessarily get a second season all the time and you don't necessarily get to work with the best people. Once I'm in the environment, I'm like, oh, right, this sucks. Or, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do this all over again. So to have this experience be duplicated again is like it blows my mind. It really is something else. And I understand why it's getting a second season. I watched it and I was enthralled. I
Yeah.
love YA drama. Give it to me all day long. And so it was great to see that something like this is being rewarded because it really is, and that people are responding to it so beautifully and with so much love and so much like, Team Cole, Team Alex. I just love that. It's exciting.
Oh yeah, you got some dedicated fans out there, for
Oh yeah,
sure on both sides. So, and
big time.
real quick, guys, before we kind of jump into further in the interview, I just want to give you a heads up. Probably going to touch on some spoilers here at some point in the interview. So if you guys haven't seen the whole show, what are you
Uh-huh.
doing? Make sure you go check it out now. But
Exactly.
without further ado, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about it. So, Ashley, as far as like the audition, you get the audition, you get the role. What did that process kind of look for you? And did you audition for anyone else besides Tara? Because I know sometimes it's like you go in for one role, but then you end up getting a completely different one.
Right. I have actually had that happen to me before, not in this experience, but I so the audition process for this was, it was a weird time of year. It was like right after pilot season. It was a slow down time of year. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done for the year. I can now just like, eat my weight in nachos and not have to worry about it because I won't be auditioning for a while. And it popped up in like end of March or like beginning of April. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I loved the character immediately. I thought she was very close to myself. Somebody who is so invested in people's lives and who has a lot of good intentions, but like is constantly just like fumbling over herself and can never quite, hit the mark. And so I saw all of that when I read the sides and I read the script, and it just touched me. And I was like, God, this would be a great show to be a part of. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would get this. And then so I auditioned for it and they came back and said, we have some notes. We'd love to like, do a live Zoom and see, if we can incorporate that. So we did that and it felt great. It just it felt right. And it so seldom feels that way when you're auditioning for parts. It's a lot of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I'll actually audition for something that felt like close to me, that I understood so well. It felt different. And when I got the call, I think like 2 days later from my agent saying I booked it, I was floored. And the fact that I got to go to Calgary to shoot it, yet another like, oh, I get to travel for work. Like what a cool thing.
I say one of the best aspects of being an
So
actor, I feel like going to these different
totally.
places.
Yeah, I completely, that's one of the reasons I wanted to act, actually, was because I love traveling and I love experiencing new cultures, seeing new things. It just like, it opens you up. And so to be able to do that and work and do the thing that I like love the most in the world was just such a dream. And the casting directors of the show are just, I mean, watching it, especially now in hindsight, seeing how well they picked everybody, how everybody is so right for their role, it made me, I was honored that I got to be a part of that group, that I got to be a part of the group they chose for this show.
No, it was crazy because I recently talked to Gabrielle who plays Olivia on the show. I was talking to her and because I wasn't familiar with like the book series or anything like that when I decided to watch this, on Netflix, and so I kind of went in cold. I was like, oh, like I thought the trailers looked really nice. Actually, I've talked to Maya who
Oh
plays
yeah,
Riley as well, so
love Maya.
talked to her when she was on Yellow Jackets. And so I was like, all right, like she was one of the reasons I was like, let me check this out because she's in the show. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was cool because
Good.
so even though I know you guys didn't film there, but the show takes place in Colorado.
Mhm.
So that's actually where I was born.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
I wasn't there for long, so I don't really remember a lot of it, but like I was born right outside of like the Colorado, or like the Denver like area, Wheat Ridge.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And so I just thought that was kind of cool to see and see like the Denver Broncos stuff in like Cole's room, I think it was. So,
Yeah.
but I granted, I know you guys like, yeah, filmed those like in Canada or whatever. So,
Yeah, in Calgary, which I mean, it's shockingly, because I've actually lived in Colorado a few times in my life, and it is shockingly similar
similar.
to Colorado. Uh, and there's like, I think the mountains feel bigger a little bit in Canada. They feel like they're a little more grand and like, large scale. I could be wrong about that. Don't hate me, Colorado. Um, but it has that, and I've said this a bunch of times. The setting is a character in the show. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful and it's so expansive, and some of the shots they got just are so unbelievable. And it's really cool that we get to like say we're in like a really like a very American town, Silver Falls, and then go shoot it in Calgary.
Yeah.
In this beautiful, stunning place of it, just like, I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Some beautiful locations for sure.
holy
Like you
moly. Yeah.
now, and it's cool too that you got to play a character, and that was actually something I was going to ask you too, as far as what were your kind of your first thoughts, getting you like booking the role, and then kind of like reading through the character. What were like your first thoughts of the character? So it's cool that she was someone that you felt you were kind of similar to her in a good amount of ways.
So true. Yeah. And God, what was it? There was something in the sides where she like has a pen in her ear. This didn't end up happening when we shot it, but she's got a pen in her ear and she's looking for a pen. She can't find her pen. That's the story of my life. I can never find my pen. It's always in my pocket. It's in my ear or my phone. I'm on
Yeah.
it. Like, where's my phone? And it just resonated so well with me that this woman is she's got so much to think about. She's got so much on her plate, but she still approaches the world with kindness and with patience. And that's something I wanted to be when I read this. I was like, this character is somebody I strive to be. I am, and I strive to be. And I was like, that'd be a really fun thing to explore. And it was so fun.
You gotta
So
be
fun.
if you're gonna be a guidance counselor, especially for high school students.
Oh boy, do you. That patience probably has to run deep.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And you have to care so much. And I really love that about her too.
Yeah. Yep. Who from the current kids in high school, like, or what do you think? I don't know if you put into any thought into this, where you're playing the character, like obviously in her current position in her life, but have you thought about what she might have been like in high school herself?
I have. I thought a lot about Tara's backstory and like where she comes from and why she chose her profession and who she is and how she got where she is. I think that she was probably not exactly the coolest girl in high school. She probably had I was really bookish in high school. I was like I loved school. I loved getting A's. I loved book reports. I think she was probably a lot like that. She probably kept a low pro and wasn't trying to like get in anybody's way so they couldn't make fun of her. Um, and probably wore a lot of like chunky sweaters, perhaps, and maybe some baggy pants, nothing too form fitting. No, trying to um, kind of disappear into the scenery. And I think the reason that she became a guidance counselor is because she realized that there's a lot of people that go through that. And a lot of people in high school, God, is one of the hardest things you can probably go through in life, just
Yep.
surviving high school. And so I think she survived, and she realized that there were people like her that she could help survive through that process. Um, and she probably had a headgear. I'm assuming she had headgear. So, but that was only worn at night,
Yeah.
not during.
Hey, when I was younger, I had to wear headgear at night, and that was one of the least fun things that you could ever do. Absolute nightmare.
I had braces for 3 years, and it was just constant, just pulling and tightening and all of that. And I was like, I feel close to this. I feel close to headgear. I
Yeah.
also wore headgear on a show I did called Huge back in the day, at night for this character who was like this really saucy kind of bitchy character. And then at night he like throws on headgear, and it was just the best. It was the perfect comedy,
That's great.
the perfect comedy.
I'm glad I did because I had braces as well. I was glad that I finished all of that kind of though before I got into high school because it's like I feel like that's just like another thing that it's like you don't want to have that, going into high school, like where you said it's like one of the toughest times of your life because you're just trying to figure out what you're doing in life, fitting
Yeah.
in with other people and
Yeah,
to
where you belong.
yeah.
It's
Now,
tough. And yeah, and that's kind of I think why Tara made that her profession, because she was like, "Oh, I can help people with this. I can guide them, I can lead them. I know the other side of this so well. Let me help, people figure out where they belong."
yeah, and that makes total sense for her. So who do you think that she would have maybe hung out with as far as like the current kids that are in high school right now? Like who would she have hung out with?
I think probably like Jackie. Like that's exactly the vibe. Like
I
somebody
could
who's like
see
really
that.
studious, who really appreciate, like who really thinks about her future. That group of people I think would definitely be her vibe. Like not the coolest crowd, perhaps, but some, people they're like, oh yeah, we know them. Yeah, they're fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're not cool and they're not, it's not either way. Uh, and I feel like that's like the comforting spot, is to be with people who love school and who want to do things like read books on the weekends. It's
Yeah,
like there's no danger there, you know what I mean? We're not going out drinking. We're reading
exactly.
books, you know?
I think that yeah, I honestly think that they would have been, probably like best friends like if they were, in high school like at the same time and so that makes sense. So you
Yeah,
play
Grace too. Grace big time. I think Grace would have been like Tara, best friends.
Grace's I love her energy. Ellie
Me
on
too.
the show, she did a fantastic job with that character.
Perfect job. Mwah, chef's kiss.
I mean, honestly, like all you guys like on the cast, I thought everyone did, a fantastic job with the roles and just so many likable characters. And even though like some of the characters that you would see initially, they would start off a certain way, and you're like, is this how your character is going to be for the whole series? But then they would end up having like an arc, that they completely changed by the end of the first season. So
That's just so fun to see. That
yep,
was when I was watching it, because you read the strips piecemeal, you read them throughout the shooting process. And so to see it all kind of combined together and to see everybody's arc and see where they go. Grace is one of the characters when she ends up wearing like the beautiful dress to the carnival and gets to spread her wings for a night. I was like, oh God, I have goosebumps thinking about it. Just that kind of writing and those kind of arcs are so fun to watch. They're so gratifying.
yeah, as I say, it must be so rewarding, being like an actor and getting a role like that where it's like you get like a nice arc for your
Yeah,
character throughout, like a season to see how that plays out.
it
So
really is.
Ashley, you play a guidance counselor in My Life with the Walter Boys. If you could give some advice to Tara, what would that be?
Oh boy. Um, I think I would say that loneliness ain't so bad, that it's okay if you're a little lonely sometimes, and to look outside of that, and to see what you have in your life that's outside of that kind of loneliness. I think Tara is somebody who has dedicated so much of her life to her career and so much to kind of hiding a little bit. Um, and now she's ready to kind of burst out of that and like find a partner, find a romantic situation. And she's scared and she's nervous and she doesn't know where she belongs in that world either, because she never really figured out where she belonged in high school. Um, and so I think I would say loneliness ain't so bad. And as soon as you forget about it, as soon as you're able to be like, you know what, my life is great, I have so much outside of that, that kind of stuff kind of, comes in if you
You least
stop thinking
expect it.
about it so hard. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I think that's probably the advice I give to her.
I think that's some great piece of advice, and
Thank you.
especially considering where Tara kind of finds herself at the end of the season. She kind of finds
Right?
herself in a pretty interesting situation.
A
And
little pickle.
yeah, I was to say, I'm gonna mess it up. What was your character? What was she saying when she was going into the different rooms?
Into the
She was,
yurts.
yeah,
Oh God, the yurt night.
the
Various
yeah,
things. The yurt night. Jason Priestley directed that episode. He came up to me right before I did that scene. It was like midnight, and he was like, "Okay, listen, I need you to come up with some funny stuff for walking to the yurt, okay?" And I was like, oh, "Okay." I'll spitball right now. So it was madness. I think I said, because basically what she's doing is she's looking for her yurt.
yeah,
And so she's like 2 yurts to the left, 3 yurts to the right. But it looks like it sounds like I'm saying, let's do yurts,
yeah.
which doesn't make any sense. Let's do yurts. And then I'm saying how I get lost everywhere, which is me. That's Ashley. I get lost everywhere. If you give me a map, no, I won't. You have to guide me there. You have to walk me to the yurt. So I just kind of took from my own experience. I would not know where that yurt was.
So
And then
funny.
when I come out of the yurt after, the Richard experience, I just came up with the fact that I was like, I don't need no more trouble in this life. I got a man who's trying to leave me and go to London. I got a whole job that I'm trying to focus on with all these kids who mean so much to me. Like, I don't need yet another experience. But I think in a way, Tara is kind of excited about the fact that there's like another
Oh yeah.
potential, future excitement.
Where do you like as far as now that because I was going to ask you like where would you like to see your character possibly go in future season if it got announced, but now that the season has officially got announced, where would you possibly like to see her go like in season 2?
I think I'd like her to have a little more confidence. I think I'd like to have her find her footing in her life a little bit more. I noticed when I watched the show, and this was on my improv, I apologized a lot. And I guess I felt that she would do that. And I think I want her to find her footing a little bit more and a little more resolve within herself that she is worthy of love, that she is worthy of relationships, and that she doesn't necessarily need somebody to fulfill that, but she's excited if that does happen to come up. And I'm really excited to see where this potential love triangle happens.
Yes.
Nikhil's reveal. Yeah, that was such a big moment because we don't get the scripts in advance. Like we get the scripts as we shoot them. So I was like, oh my God, what? No way. And so to have him come back and kind of flip her world upside down yet again. In my mind, I feel like Tara needs to be a little bit like, excuse me, hold on one sec. Not like, you're back, I'm so happy to see you. Like,
Yeah.
So maybe a little more like finding her footing and really gaining confidence in her choices and in who she is. She's still going to be a bumbling mess. There's no that
Yeah,
I'm a mess. You know what I mean? That's not going anywhere.
it'll always be part of the character. But yeah, no, I think that would be great. And it's funny. We just got love triangles popping up everywhere in the show.
Love it. God, I love a love triangle. It's so fun.
And which it's nice too. Like one of the things that I like about the show too is like you have the different generations of characters, so that way there's a little bit of something for everybody. It's not necessarily just like a teen show. You have the adults too, so if adults tuning in, they can connect with those characters maybe a little bit more. But I was talking to Gabrielle, and I was saying even if even like for like the teenage characters, it's like everybody goes to high school at some point in their life, so everyone's got they can look back on that time and you're like, what, that's what I was like when I was in high school. So
absolutely, it's so relatable and like you said, generationally, it's relatable in the fact that like high school is everybody. None of us can get out of that experience. And also that generationally, we can see everybody's experiences. It just like it weaves together so well. Our showrunner, Melanie, just did such a beautiful job because Tara is actually not in the book. She's a character that Melanie created and wrote. Neither is Nikhil. And so to see her include these characters and really like round out this world so beautifully, I wasn't surprised when I saw it, but when you're shooting something, it's all, piecemeal. And so to see everything kind of come together, I was like, oh, this all works so well. And I feel like everybody has a place on this show, everybody that watches it, I feel like, and that's really nice. You don't feel like you're going to watch something. You're like, oh, I have no idea what this experience is like. I feel like everybody kind of understands at least one character's experience and can relate to them and maybe feel comforted by something that's going on in their storyline or
exactly.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing to do because I mean, like having a cast of this size, where you have just the
Yeah,
Walter family themselves,
I
like,
know.
they have like all the kids and stuff in there, but then you have, you guys, the adults. So that's
Yep,
that's
Haley will.
that's a tough thing to do to be able to balance all of those characters and to give them all enough, time to shine throughout the show and not feel like people are getting left out. I feel like everyone kind of got a good amount of time to, have their moments like here and there.
I totally agree with you. And that was another thing that I saw when I watched it. I was like, oh, everybody, I remember everybody. Every character is memorable because they actually have a storyline that we're actually getting to see fleshed out. It's not like anybody gets dropped.
Yeah.
And as we shot the show, I got to really see that too. And it was so exciting that nobody was being left behind, like the 30 something woman who was a guidance counselor and probably has at least one cat is still represented on this show. And she still gets to have a whole storyline in which, the love that she really seeks in life is definitely a potential. And that's exciting, I feel like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now,
Yeah.
and speaking of, Tara and Haley, I wanted to ask you about because, basically your best friend, on the show. So what was it like, working with Zoe Soul and, just like, were you guys friends before the series or what was it like developing that relationship between your characters?
We were not friends before the series. We met the first day we started shooting. We had a scene at the restaurant where Will goes off and, hangs out with the guy, the restaurateur, the owner of the restaurant. That was our very first day meeting. And we just clicked. And I'm so grateful for that. We just got along. We have the same sense of humor. We have the same kind of perspective on the world. And we like to talk about things and really like hash things out and really like get into things. So that was really fun to do while we shot. And to this day, she's one of my best friends. Like we are in love with each other. We are in love. There is love and there's in love and we are in love. And I'm so happy about it. She's in the Netherlands right now. And she actually came into town for a weekend and stopped by and came to my house. And we just got to hang out for an afternoon. And it was just like the best thing ever. It was like seeing my best friend who's been gone for a really long time. So to
That's
have that transfer over to the show and to be able to like so easily do that on the show because I have such an affection for her and because we have such a great relationship was so easy.
and
And
that
just what a joy.
And that'll only add to, going forward, like in, future seasons. And now you guys got that, you've worked with each other, you got that chemistry like even more. But
Yeah.
it's really cool when you get to work on a project. I mean, one, just like working, doing like a film or a TV show, but then to develop, a friendship with someone on that series or that movie and have that carry over afterwards. That's such a cool thing.
It's so cool. And it wasn't just Zoe too. Like Johnny, we have a Johnny who plays Will, and Zoe and I have our like own text thread, and we text each other all the time. We definitely text each other a lot yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm sure.
and just like we keep up with each other, and I keep up with Noah who plays Cole, and I keep up with Nikki who plays Jackie, and I haven't lost those friendships even without knowing we were going to get renewed and come back. Noah and I were making plans to go to see each other. I just had a baby 5 months ago. And he was like, "Oh my God, I want to meet your kid. Thank you." And so the fact that that doesn't happen very often. You usually do a show, you leave that show, and you get lucky if you get to bring people with you who you had a great relationship with. And I have several of those from this show. And that's really saying something about this cast
Yeah,
and how
as I say
awesome
it's almost like you guys, developed like you guys were like an actual like almost a
they
second
are.
family like on the
It's
series.
so true. And the actual family, the Walters and Nikki, like that, they got so close. They are an actual family. And I didn't get to shoot a ton with them because I wasn't really in that storyline, but I did towards the end because of the, obviously,
Yeah.
wedding. And so I got to see it in real life off screen. And it was so cool. It was so cool to see these people who didn't even know each other like 4 months ago or 5 months ago completely just envelop each other and love each other and have inside jokes and communicate the way they did. It was astounding. It's really, really cool.
So that chemistry that we see on screen, that is like very, very real because they all care about each other and they're all that, friends like that in real life.
They really are. And they really care about each other. And I think that's a big deal. When you do a show, you have a lot of personalities and a lot of egos, and that doesn't exist on this show. And that's, I think, one of the best parts about it is there's nobody throwing anything around. Everybody's just there to tell this story and to support each other and to have fun. And I saw that so much in that last episode when we shot episode 10. I was like, oh, this is why I do this. I get it. Of course, this is why I forgot. This is wonderful.
I'll say it must be like such a special experience, and definitely, yeah, treasure that. Cause I mean, like you said, it's not something that comes along, like every day, every project that you work on.
It really isn't. It special is a good word for it. It is a very special cast. And also our crew. Our crew is the best, the most fun. They care about the show so much, and we all get along so well. And that's always vital for a show, to have a great working crew that you love to work with. And of course, a great cast that you love to work with. So to have both things on a show, amazing. And to get a second season with that cast and hopefully that crew, amazing.
And hopefully, I mean, it's the second season, but hopefully we got, multiple seasons like
Mhm.
coming after that, because I'm sure there's plenty of, story to tell, like even after the second season.
I think so. Yeah. Melanie, I read the Deadline article yesterday, and she had said, I just see so much life in this story, and so many places this could go. And with so many characters, you have so much potential for that. And so I think so too. I think it's got a good life ahead of it.
And plus, I'm sure, like, even for just like the high school, like the kids, like I was talking to Gabrielle, and I was like, she was talking about, Olivia possibly finding a love interest character. And I was like,
I hope
because she
so.
was saying that a lot of the Walter boys are all, pretty much taken at this point. And I was like, hey, I mean, honestly, maybe we just haven't met the character yet, and they pop up, in like a future season at the high school. Cause I mean, there's a ton of kids there. So
Totally. Yeah. There's so much possibility, it feels like, for this show,
yeah,
and so many things you could introduce. And I hope that too. I want Olivia to find love. She can't just be Cole's side chick. She
yeah,
deserves better. She
yeah.
deserves better than that.
I was glad that her and Aaron, reunited at the end, because I was like, oh, like I was hoping they were going to. Now,
Yeah.
Ashley, I have to ask you, because we got to ask everybody: are
Oh
you Team
no.
Cole or Team
Oh,
Alex?
why would you do this to me? Um, you know, only from my background, because I have a problem and I love a boy that's going to break my heart. It's, of course, my favorite thing. I probably am Team Cole, just because he's so exciting and you
Yeah,
never know what he's going to do. But I do love Alex. I feel like he's such a genuine, beautiful character. And of course, that's the guy you should end up with. That's the guy that's going to treat you right and you're going to have a beautiful life with. But Cole's going to string you along and you're going to have a ton of adventure and heartbreak.
yep, yeah. It's gonna say it's definitely gonna be interesting for sure. And it's funny. Hey, you're not the only one that said that. Gabriella, she said that too.
It's
So
tough. It's a tough one. The sensible part of me is like Team Alex. Of course. Why wouldn't you pick but Team Cole? Yeah, I got to
I
pick that
know
excitement.
a lot of people want to see Alex and Kylie as well. So
That also is part of why I'm saying that, because I love that relationship so much and I love the character of Kylie so much. And Maya does such a great job at it. I scream at my TV when Alex is not paying attention to her and when he doesn't notice her.
oh
So to
yeah.
have the possibility of that is very exciting. And also the possibility of Danny and Aaron. Oh, so many exciting things.
That the final episode, yeah, the when he was drunk and goes back to the room,
Mhm.
she takes him back, and he says that line where he's like, "Oh, you're just like one of the dudes," and I was just like, "Alex,
Broke
you
me.
idiot!" I was like, "What?"
You're staring into each other's eyes.
Like, granted, like obviously, he's with Jackie, so it's like, shouldn't be doing that, but it's like at the same time, I'm just like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? Yeah. And she's just so, and this is a credit to Maya. She's so open, she's waiting for him to notice her and to recognize this flame that she holds for him, this candle. And I really hope that gets, I'm sure it'll be a back and forth thing, but I really hope a little bit of something happens in second season for them.
I'm sure, like I feel like there would definitely be something, like if it's not second season, there will probably be hints like you said, but it's at
Yeah.
some point something's going to happen with those two characters. I think it's just a matter of time.
I think so too.
Is there anything else, Ashley, that you want to say, just as far as just like working on the show, anything that you want to say to the fans? I'm sure that you've probably been getting tagged in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I think I want to say that I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that people responded to the show in the way they did, that they love it so much, that they love all the characters so much, that they see themselves in the characters. It is such a wonderful reception, and to see people really absorb it and really find comfort in it, that means everything to me. And so I'm very grateful to the fans. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you for getting us to season 2. Hopefully we get 3, 4, and 5 after that. And I'm just excited to show you whatever happens in season 2. It's going to be great. It's going to be riveting. Oh, it's so exciting.
I say it's going to be exciting. I can't
Yeah.
wait till you guys start working on and that. And as far as, for you, Ashley, too, just as far as like any other projects that you got, coming up in the future, where can fans kind of keep up to date on your projects? You got like Instagram? Do you have any other, social media?
I do. I mainly stick to Instagram. I definitely ditched the boat on X, but I'm on Instagram. And I just recently wrapped the second season of an animated show I'm on called Doomlands. It's an adult animated show. So it's, some bad words, it's a little bit bloody, but it's so fun and it's so funny. It's on Roku and it's a great show. There's one season available on there right now. And then I'm not sure when our second season is premiering, but it's probably going to be in the next year. Probably early next year.
What's the handle for Instagram too, just so people know?
It's at the Ash Pop. So TheAshPop.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to put it down on the description too, so that way people can, go there and give you a follow. Well, hey Ashley, it has been, so much fun talking to you about the show. And again, just congratulations on season 2. Can't wait to see what happens next for your characters and the rest of the cast. And you're welcome back anytime in the future.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Hi, I'm Ashley Tavares. I play Tara on My Life with the Walter Boys, and you've been watching Pop Culture with Pat, season 2.